Greetings, CrossFit Inconceivable community. Coach Amelia here with part 1 of the workout series Double Take. This is the warm-up, and let's get started. So we're going to start today by just reaching high, interlacing your fingers, and just practice leaning side to side, letting the hips lead the way, opening up through the ribs. See if you can enhance the depth of that movement every time. Think about how long you can make the body, how expansive. Stretch the spine. Good. Let's let the arms relax down, and then we'll sweep them up again. And this time reach down for our toes and let ourselves hang. And this is the one moment we kind of let the back round. Let the hips rock side to side. Open up the hamstrings. Pressing the spine in a different way. And then let's bring ourselves back up to stand. And we'll reach high and then reach for the toes. And we'll repeat that. Feeling that opening. See if we can get as much length about as we can, and warm up through the back of the legs and the hips. Good. And let's get wide into our windmill stance. Reach the arms out to a T, and then hinging at the hips, reach down for the opposite toe. And practicing that hip hinge movement. So I'm letting my hips come back and keeping the back flat as I reach down. Okay, so I'm not kind of curling as I do this, but stay nice and tall. Practicing getting some length in the spine as we get there. Always going to be a full extension at the top and that full range of the movement. Good. Keep that wide stance and we'll get some Cossack squats. So we'll go side to side here, coming each way, sitting down and back, working on opening up the inner thigh. And maybe let that toe come up for a few. See how that shifts the movement for you. All right. And coming back in. Let's get some shoulder circles backward. And let the elbows kind of join in and lead the way. Kind of in the great outdoors here. So let's roll with some ambient background noise, music of the moment. Learning to work out where we are has been part of this process. Don't let the arms spin in some circles forward, getting bigger as you go. And bringing it both up top. See if you can trace one forward and one back. Working on our coordination and switch directions. Watch for those obstructions behind you. Good. And let's give ourselves a hug. Alternating which arm is on top. Trying to warm up those shoulders. Have some movement here. It's going to ask us to use those. Excellent. All right. And then tapping on the back, getting more into the triceps. Make sure you can still see me in the view. All right. I'm going to shake that out. Let's come into our squat stance, and we'll hang out at the bottom of the squat for about 10 seconds. And so we'll sit low. We'll bring our elbows inside our knees, keeping the heels down, working on sitting back, keeping the chest up, staying active in the hips, not just collapsing, but sitting up nice and tall. Good. Breathing, maybe rocking a little bit side to side, feeling into the ankle mobility. Breath in. Breath out. And then let's stand back up and we'll get just some air squats, feeling into the depth of that range of motion, sitting down and back and standing tall. Always remember we get a little bit back before we come down and drop our hips below the knees. And if you're working on your depth, sometimes having an object to squat to can give you some helpful feedback. Working on bringing that chest more upright with each squat. Maybe you reach tall to encourage that. Keeping that torso upright as we get into that depth of the range of motion. Good. 2 more. And 2. All right, let's shake it out. Let's come into some Spider-Man stretches, getting into the lower extremity here. So we're going to step forward to a lunge and let both hands come inside the foot. You can pause there for a second or two and then press back to a bit of a down dog, and you take a moment to pedal out your calves and then swap the leading foot, coming back and switching. up, through, up, through. One more. Make sure we get even number on both sides. And walk ourselves back up to sand. Let's get a little bit of core activation here. So we're going to come into a plank pose. I'm going to turn this way so I can see the clock and show you that plank line. You can come onto push-up position. You can come to your elbows. You want to not be too high. You definitely don't want to let your back sag, so really engage there. I'm going to come up to the hands. We're going to hold for 30 seconds. Think about squeezing glutes, quads, abs. Shoulders are active. Breathing. Good. 10 seconds in. Nice work. 10 more seconds to go. And let's rest. Come back for a minute in child's pose. And walk those hands forward. Stretching out into the back. And then the glutes. Let's come back to that plank position one more time. And if you need to be on knees, you can. We're going to work on some scat push-ups. So letting the chest come down and then pressing the ground away. Really just working through the shoulders for activation. Good. Let's come one more time into child's pose, and this time walk it over to one side. Opening up across the ribs. Sending those hips back to the heels. And then walk the other way. And we'll come back to center. And come back up tall. Good. It's definitely warmer when it's summer weather outside. We're going to work on some upright lunging here. And so we're going to come into a 90 and 90 at the hip and knee, the ankle as well, 90, 90, 90. And then step back, step tall, and come forward to the other leg. Good. Alternating, just tapping the knee, engaging there. Nice. And let's get some hops. So we're going to just get some line hops. So imagining line in the middle, just to the right of me here, and hopping back and forth over. Oops, watching out for equipment behind you. And hopping back and forth forward. Keeping my right foot up with a sore foot. We can always accommodate what we need to. All right. So we're getting all those joints warmed up, kind of head to toe. Join me in the next video for explanation of the workout.